Hi, my name is Oktay. This video is about the Munich city train system. It's called S-Bahn. This year is the 50th anniversary of this system. It was opened in 1972 when Munich hosted the Olympic Games. This picture shows you the current model ET423. ET means elektrischer Triebwagen, electric rail car. It has the original color design, which was white with blue stripes and orange stripes. S-Bahn means Schnellbahn, which means a quick train. This picture is on most postcards of Munich. That's a picture of the Frauenkirche. It's an ancient church with beautiful round roofs. Munich is the third biggest city in Germany. It's the capital of the state of Bavaria with 1.5 million population in the city and 2.9 million people in the region. And the population keeps growing because Munich is among the strongest economic regions in Germany. This is a symbol of Munich. It's called Münchner Kindl. It makes a funny gesture. This is a kid monk taking an oath. He's taking an oath and he's holding a book in his left hand. That's probably the Bible, and that's the symbol of the city of Munich. This map shows you a structure of the Munich city S-Bahn. You can see it's like a spider. This is 10 kilometers, this scale. So this means the system connects most of the small towns at about 35 to 40 kilometer distance. It has 8 lines, one of which is a temporary line, 7 main lines. It has a length of 444 kilometers with 150 stations. The organization Munich S-Bahn has 1,600 employees. What is very impressive is the number of driven kilometers per year. That's 20.9 million. That's about 54 times from Earth's distance, Earth Moon. And pre-corona, there were about a maximum of 950,000 passengers per day. And to give you an idea of the speed of this train, this is the small town of Freising. It's the station of the Blue Line S1. And this line has a 40-kilometer route from Freising to Hauptbahnhof, Central Station. And it can make this distance in 43 minutes. This is a picture of the map of the current system. You can see the inner city section starts in Pasing in the west. At Leim, the lines S1 and S2 are connected to this system, to this section. And at Donnersberger Brücke, the brown line S7. And the inner city section ends at Ostbahnhof in Munich East. And you can see the temporary line, that's the dotted line S20, is not part of the inner city section. There are several big factories along this brown line, for example, Siemens. And this temporary line connects these factories to the central transit station, Pasing. The inner city section contains a 4.3 kilometer tunnel that includes 5 tunnel stations from Hauptbahnhof to Rosenheimer Platz. And there's one unusual thing, that's the reversing at Ostbahnhof of these 2 lines from the south, S3 and S7. There's a flying junction south of Giesing. These lines change from right to left-hand traffic at Giesing. So Giesing and St. Martinstraße have left-hand traffic. And then at Ostbahnhof they change back to right-hand traffic. So the train stops at Ostbahnhof and goes backwards into the tunnel. This is a combined map of Munich S-Bahn and the metro system called U-Bahn. And you can see most of the districts are covered, with very few exceptions, one of which is Blumenau, that's here. And there are plans for this brown line, which is parallel to the inner city section, U5. And in about 10 years, this brown line will be extended to Pasing. And this will give this system a bypass. This is a picture of the station Pasing. It's a transfer station in the west. That's where the 4 lines meet, S3, S4, S6, and S8, and that's where the temporary line S20 starts. This is a picture of the station Hackerbrücke. That's near the central station. And in the background, you can see the entrance of the inner city tunnel. And on the left, you can see new security fences. Unfortunately, they're necessary because some people are careless and jump on the tracks. Imagine if you were working at the operation center of the S-Bahn München. What would you need? You need options, extra options. And this is one such option. There's a flying junction from Hackerbrücke to the central station up and off at the surface. So in case of a problem in the tunnel, you can reroute the trains from the west to this central station at the surface. And this doesn't have to be a technical problem. Sometimes, for example, there's a medical emergency. And this is one such option to keep the system running. This is a picture of the Munich Central Station Hauptbahnhof. It has 32 tracks, and it's a terminal station. There's only one way in and same way out. There was a renovation program of the S-Bahn stations in Munich. This is a picture of the tunnel station of the S-Bahn at Hauptbahnhof. And this is called a Spanish solution. You have a big middle platform that's for the passengers waiting for the train. And you have 2 side platforms that's for the passengers leaving for the trains. And this ensures a short stay of the trains and makes the lines more effective. The station is a transit station to metro lines and other train lines, regional and international train lines. In the tunnel, you have fewer reference points. That's why there could be sometimes problems with orientation. And one solution is to give each tunnel station its own color. So this station has red color. This is the next station, Karlsbad-Stachus. It's a commercial center. It's just about 300 meters away from the central station. And you can see it is a blue design. You can again see it as a Spanish solution, and this station is a transit station to the metro lines U4 and U5. This is a picture of the city center of Munich called Marienplatz. You can see the city hall. It has a balcony at the top. That's called a Glockenspiel. It's a system of bells. They can play all kinds of melodies, and this balcony has several platforms with big puppets. And at noon, the puppets start dancing, and there's a bells play melodies, all kinds of different melodies. You can check on YouTube. There are videos of this. Just type in Munich Glockenspiel, and you can see videos of this dance. There's a pedestrian zone from Marienplatz all the way to Karlsbad. It's about 1 kilometer long. This is what the tunnel station looks like. It has an orange design, and there are 2 levels. The directions are separated from each other. At the upper level, you have the trains to the east, and in the lower level, you have the trains to the west. And you can again see this Spanish solution. There are separated platforms for the waiting passengers and for the leaving passengers. And this station is a transit station to the metro lines U3 and U6. The next 2 stations are not as frequented as the first 3 stations in the tunnel. That's the green station Isartor and the yellow station Rosenheimer Platz. This picture shows here there's a metal and glass construction around the escalators. In the tunnel, there's one big threat. That's of course fire, and these constructions help prevent the chimney effect. They can block the smoke from eventual fires. This picture shows the end of the inner city section, this station Ostbahnhof, Munich East. In the left, you can see the passenger information system. It shows this 3-unit train, this maximum length called Langzug, long train. Standard is 2 units. It's called Vollzug, full train, and very few lines have these 3-unit trains. At the right, you see this gentleman is wearing a Bavarian outfit. It's called Lederhosen. That's leather pants, leather jacket, leather vest, and white shirt and big socks. Here's a comparison of the two different train types. Here, on the left is the older train type ET420. At the right, ET423. This picture from the station Hörl-Wiegelskreuz is located about in the middle of the brown line S7. Both trains have the same length of about 67 meters. The older generation ET420 makes just about 15% of the fleet. It has 3 cars per unit. Each car has 2 bogies. That makes 6 bogies per unit. The newer model ET423 has 4 shorter cars per unit and a total of just 5 bogies per unit. This picture shows you the innovations that came with the newer model ET423. You have a better distribution of the passengers because this train is built like an articulated bus. The cars are not separated from each other. And you have a new design for the bogie. That's called Jakobs bogie. And this gives the train a better safety standard. This picture shows you the differences between the bogies of this older and the newer and the older model. There can be several reasons for derailment of a train. For example, object on the tracks, or if the tracks are destabilized by heavy rain, or if there's a technical failure with the train. And that's a very dangerous situation because while the first cars are in the air, the following cars still have momentum, and the cars could crash into each other. And this can cause a heavy accident. In this situation, the bogies play an important role because of their high mass. The Jakobs bogie is placed between the cars, and that makes a difference because now the bogie with this high mass helps the train maintain its structure. The cars will not crash into each other. They will still be damaged, of course, and the track will also be damaged, but you have a better safety standard. This bogie was invented by Wilhelm Jakobs, 1901, patented. Yeah, and that's the safety feature of this newer model ET423. Then there's one curious thing about this new model. It's about the third bogie. It's the one that connects the second with the third car. This bogie is made of the same parts as the other bogies, but it has no motors and no brakes. So what would you do with older trains of this ET420 series? You put them on lines that have a high percentage of double tracks, like S3, S4, S6, but not on the S7, because the line S7 has 75% single track. This is what the interior looks like of the newer model ET423. You have panels with many tiny holes, and these are designed for soundproofing. This is a picture of the station Moosach, which is located just outside the inner city section. At the left side, you see the train that's on the track number 5, that's next to a side platform. This train is on its way to the inner city. And the train out of the cities usually stops at track number 4. This is next to this middle platform. But sometimes the train is rerouted to the track number 3, that's here at the right side, and has to wait. This train has to wait for several minutes until it's overtaken by express trains, and then it has to wait a few more minutes and only then continue its journey. And this overtaking happens a lot in several stations and in both directions, and this makes this line less reliable, less punctuality. And some people get angry at the train drivers, but this is not their fault, and this is a infrastructure problem. This S-Bahn system needs its own tracks, then it will be independent and it will then function better. This is the line S7. That's a really problem line because it has 75% of this line is single track. And unfortunately, this year there was an accident. Two trains from opposite directions crashed into each other. There were several injuries, and one person unfortunately died. There was an investigation. Of course, you have to review all security systems. You can't just say there's a human error. Yeah, and this is why you don't put the older generation of trains on this line S7. This is what the system looks like today, 2022. And this is what it will look like in 2037. This new project is currently under construction. It's called Zweite Stammstrecke, second inner city section. And it was estimated at the beginning at costs were 3.8 billion euros. Now it turns out it could be 7.3 billion euros. You can see it starts at the station line. This is the new section. That's, most of it is to the north of the older section. It will have 3 new tunnel stations at Hauptbahnhof Center Station, Marienhof, city center, and Munich East. The opening was planned for the year 2028. It could be delayed until 2037. This new section will allow extension to further places, small towns, like for example here Landshut, that are not connected yet to the S-Bahn system. It will have 4 new express lines. These are the dotted lines in this picture. And you have the option of improving the frequency from 20 minutes to 15 minutes. However, these 2 lines from the south will still have to do this reversing maneuver because they are not connected to the second inner city section. In my opinion, that's an error. This is another project that's early planning stage. This picture shows you the last station of the southern section of the line S7, Wolfratshausen. There are plans to extend this line with a new 9-kilometer section with 3 new stations to the small town of Geretsried. And that makes a lot of sense because Geretsried has a population of 25,000 people. This is one of my favorite stations, a very beautiful and modern station. This used to be like any other station, a surface. Old station was at the surface. And it was replaced when in 1992 the new airport was opened. This station was replaced by a tunnel station. And this picture shows you the surface now. When you replace a station at the surface with a tunnel station, you get a lot of free space at the surface. And you can see there's a bus terminal. This buses with green, white, blue design. These are regional bus lines that connect the branches of the S-Bahn lines. And at the right, you can see there's a small park. Yeah, that's one of the most beautiful stations in this network. Yeah, I have nice childhood memories from these train rides. And with this video, I want to thank all the people that make this happen and that work for this organization, S-Bahn München, and I want also thank all other people that work on at the other train corporations for giving us this valuable service. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.